means that it's time for another live Q&A all about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. I'm your host, as usual, Paul J. Lipsky. So how this works is during the week, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section of any of my videos, and I will throw them up on the screen just like this, and then answer it during my next live Q&A. Or if you're here joining me live, there's a live chat somewhere on the page, depending on if you're on your phone or on a computer. Ask your question live. I'll answer it for you right away, and then we can, take it from there. All right. So let's get into this. I have a bunch of questions that you guys asked me this past week. So let's get into that. Before I do, I want to give a shout out to some of my students who are absolutely crushing it with dropshipping right now. I think I posted these a couple weeks ago, but I want to throw them up again. Here's Larry, who just hit $72,000 in sales on his eBay account. So congrats, Larry, again. We have this student says, just signed up for your course last night and woke up to their first sale, $58. So that kind of shows that it's possible to get started with dropshipping really, really quickly. We also have Tim here, who's brand new as well, already doing $3,700 in sales. We have Thomas here, just hit the $30,000 mark, so congrats, Thomas, another one of my students. And Tom, who's just hit $77,000 in sales just in the past month. In the past 90 days, over $135,000 in sales. So Tom, congratulations. Thanks to all of you for posting up your results inside the private Facebook group that's just for members of the eBay Dropshipping Titans course. Let's see who's here in the live chat. We have Faraz, thanks for being here, guys. Let me know where in the world you are tuning in from. Right now, I am in Utah, just an hour outside of Zion National Park. So we're headed there after this. Kind of excited to check it out. The park just reopened. So I've never been there, or I haven't been there in a really long time. So pretty excited to check it out. Let's see. Adrian says, hey, Paul, hope you're doing fine. I am, thank you. I'm living in a country that doesn't support managed payment. Do you think eBay will let those countries use PayPal? That's a good question. I've been getting a lot of questions recently about eBay's managed payments because that's something they're going to be rolling out, forcing a lot of us sellers into in just 2 months' time. So a lot of questions still linger about managed payments. And unfortunately, eBay isn't being the best at kind of communicating with us what all those important changes are. And so we're kind of forced as sellers to kind of piece it together by, talking to each other, saying, oh, you got this email, well, I got this email, and none of us are getting consistent information, and they're not even announcing things. A lot of those things, they're just sending out emails to some sellers. Sometimes you got to look at the seller forums. They'll say things in there, and other times they'll put out YouTube or Facebook videos about it. So it's been very confusing, to say the least. And I don't think they're doing a very good job with it, quite frankly. So that's another one of those questions that I didn't even consider, and I don't have the answer for that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things we don't have answers to right now. I will be making a video later this week, kind of talking a little bit about a good change that happened with managed payments, as well as some other good news from eBay as well. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's see. Tim says, I just got a negative feedback from a buyer that says, beware, item never shipped. However, the item is still in delivery window, and it is shipped. I even communicated with the buyer with the delay. So, Tim, I would wait till the item gets delivered and then reach back out to the buyer again and say, explain what happened, explain why there was a delay, if there was a delay, and then make sure that you ask them if they're satisfied to then revise the feedback. If that doesn't work, contact eBay at that point and kind of explain the situation, but you shouldn't really do anything else besides just communicate with the buyer until the item is delivered. eBay, not always, but sometimes they will remove feedback, especially during these more extreme situations like the one we're in right now with the pandemic. But you have to show that you're making an attempt, that you're really trying to make it work. And what the eBay is looking for is communication with the buyer. Now, they do have rules that to follow. They can't just remove any feedback, but you have a much greater likelihood of getting that feedback removed by eBay later if You communicate with the buyer through the whole process, kind of explain what's going on, answer all their questions, and act really professional through the whole process. So that's what you should aim for. Once the item's delivered, then you can contact the buyer, then eBay, and hopefully get that feedback removed. I'm at 8.2 thousand now. What's up, man? So glad. Yeah, I think I just threw up your screenshot. So that's awesome. Congrats. Harry Potter is here from Israel. Also, I think I just got banned from purchasing from Target. You probably did, Tim. So Target is one of the suppliers that I advise most dropshippers to avoid using because they do not like resellers. And we as dropshippers, we are resellers. So they actually have policies against it. And this applies not only to dropshippers, it applies to anyone doing retail arbitrage. So if you go into their store and try to buy up a bunch of items that might be on discount with the intent of reselling them, sometimes you'll get the manager come up to you and say, "Hey, you're not allowed to do that." It's, I don't know why, bogus, but that's what they want to do. So the same thing applies for drop shippers as well. If you try to make a lot of purchases from their website and shipping to different locations, they're going to catch on. They're going to tell you can't use Target anymore. Plenty of other retail websites we can drop ship from, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, for more advanced sellers, something to keep in mind is that there are plenty of people out there who are successfully drop shipping from Target. And the way they're doing that is by they are, excuse me, they are finding a way to make it work. And this is something I've seen a lot of drop shippers do, where if there's a website that's particularly difficult or annoying to drop ship from, you'll often find that a lot of people won't drop ship from them, which leaves a huge opportunity for the people who are willing to find a way to make it work, such as with Target. So just keep that in mind if you're more advanced and you want to try to work through those difficulties. It could be really worth it, really to your benefit. Um, what is up, Jorge from Mexico? Let's see. How can I create an eBay stealth account? So I actually have a mini course that explains how to do that. If you go to dropshippingtitans.com / the letter P / again stealth, that's the way to find it. I know it's a long one, but that's what it is. Dropshippingtitans.com / P / stealth. Or you can just search on YouTube for Paul J. Lipsky stealth accounts, and I have a bunch of videos about that as well. You should probably do that first, actually. Uh, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. What monitor do I use? I use AutoDS for all my listings on eBay. I really like that one. It's really user friendly. It's a very nice dashboard, nice user interface, and I really enjoy it. It has a lot of features that I like. So that's the one that I use. I do have an affiliate link to them underneath this video. Only reason I recommend them is because I personally use them and personally like them. So it's AutoDS. Check it out. I think that link you use, you can get a free trial, or sorry, a trial with them for about $1 for a month, I think. Let's see. Albert says Blue Care Express is not working. What should we do? I'll check that out after this video. I don't do a lot from Amazon to eBay, or don't do it right now, but I will definitely look into that after this video. How do you handle multiple orders without software or virtual assistants? Mark wants to know. So it sounds like Mark is seeing some success with dropshipping, and he's not using any software, not using any virtual assistants. If you're not familiar with what virtual assistants or who virtual assistants are, uh, we hire individuals from other countries like the Philippines or India, and the cost of living there is much lower. So we can pay them $2 to $3 an hour, and that's a good wage for them, and it doesn't cost us a lot of money. These virtual assistants can then run our dropshipping accounts because they're all online, and then they can do everything from listing items to fulfilling orders to customer service. So Mark wants to know how he can fulfill the orders without the use of software or virtual assistants, because there is some software for some suppliers which will automate the ordering of products for some suppliers, only really like AliExpress and Amazon. So how do you handle multiple orders without software or virtual assistants, Mark? You have to just do it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You can use a software called Spot and Paste, and Spot and Paste will help you semi-automate the order fulfillment. So basically the way it works is you would log into your eBay account, and this is after you've installed Spot and Paste on your browser, so you can install it on your Chrome browser. And once it's installed, it's a Chrome extension. Once it's installed, then when you go to eBay, it will allow you to quickly copy the address from eBay directly on eBay. eBay doesn't know you're using it. It just changes the way the website looks using the extension, the Chrome extension. So you press a button, it just pulls the address from eBay, and then when you go on your supplier's website, you press another button and it pastes that address into the shipping field. So that will speed up the process quite a bit. It's called Spot and Paste. And that's really the best I can offer you. But you should be hiring virtual assistants at some point to help you if you've asked that question. If you've asked that question, there's a reason for it, right? You're starting to feel overwhelmed. It's a good time to start to think about hiring a virtual assistant. Like I said, you can hire them for pretty inexpensive, so it is worth it for the growth of your business. So you can concentrate on other things like listing more items or finding better techniques to make more profit on more sales. Those are the kind of things that as the store/business owner, you should be concentrating on, not fulfilling orders. That is definitely a good task to outsource to a virtual assistant. Okay, cool. My account is below standard. What can I do, please, sir? So he's talking about an eBay account that's below standard. So eBay sets these different seller levels for every seller. So the very top is top rated seller. Okay. That's like you're doing everything perfect and beyond that. You're doing really well. The next is above standard, and then you're below standard. There's nothing between above standard and below standard. At the very least, you have to be above standard. If you're not, then you drop down to below standard. Now, if you fall into below standard, there are consequences to it. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about what the consequences are, but it can be things like if it lasts too long, which I'll get to that in a second. So if you fall below standard, you do have an increase in fees. For instance, you might have lower visibility in the search results. So it's just not a good thing. Now, once you fall below standard, they do give you time to get back above standard before these consequences kick in. And then even after the consequences kick in, they still give you more time to be above standard before they say they could ultimately suspend your account for being below standard for too long. So just don't let your account fall below standard. You want to keep it above standard. So how do you do that? Well, eBay looks at a bunch of different things. I've made a video about this before, so you should look for that video about seller levels and falling below standard, because I go really in depth there about it. But basically, they want to make sure that you're not canceling items for being out of stock. You're shipping out your items. You don't have a lot of item not received cases or item not as described returns. These are all the types of things that you should be making sure you are staying on top of. If you stay on top of all these, if you close out your cases and returns, then you're going to be good and you're not going to fall below standard. Now, once you fall below standard, it is difficult to get back above standard, but not impossible. So basically, the best way to do it is to make sure that you get a lot more sales, because it's all based on a percentage. If you have 2 sales and one of them has a defect on it, then you're below standard. But if you have 100 sales and only one of them has a defect on it, then you're above standard. So you see, it's all based on a percentage. So the more sales you have with fewer sales that have defects on them, your account's gonna get better. So that's what you need to do. Now, luckily, right now, eBay has extended seller protections to all sellers because of COVID. So if you are at risk of falling below standard, you're not actually going to suffer any consequences for that at least until the end of July, because eBay is protecting our accounts until the end of July. So for now, you at least have some time to fix it before you start to get some of those consequences. Okay. Fade says, are you supposed to get tax exempt right when you start drop shipping, or are you supposed to get decent sales first? So becoming tax exempt is something that's a huge benefit to drop shippers. So basically what it is you normally, when you shop on websites like Walmart or HomeDepot.com, when you go through the checkout process, you're going to pay sales tax when you purchase the item. Let's say the item's like $100 and you're shipping it um, to like California, and then it might be like $110, $109 with sales tax, right? Well, we as resellers, because we are not going to be the end consumer of that item, we technically don't have to pay sales tax for it. So in order to prove to Walmart and Home Depot that that we are resellers and that we don't have to pay sales tax, we have to go through the sales tax exemption process. It does take a little bit of time because there's a lot of steps involved, but it's worth it, definitely. So um, the question is, should you get it right away or should you kind of wait? And my recommendation, Fade, is always to start selling right away. And as you're selling, next to that, at the same time, start to work on becoming tax exempt. Okay? So that you should be doing them both at the same time, but don't delay starting drop shipping because you feel like you have to become tax exempt first. I wouldn't do that. You can definitely do both at the same time. And definitely also don't wait to become tax exempt because it is a huge benefit. You want to start the ball rolling on that as quickly as possible. Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I love your avatar picture there. Whoa, awesome. Says, I already made my money back in less than 15 days. Your course is awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Steven says, how many days do you wait until you delete an item that has no sales? Really, really good question, Steven. So the general rule of thumb is 30 days. If an item doesn't sell in 30 days, we delete it. Now, I kind of give different advice to different people based on this. So what I tell a lot of people is you don't have to delete an item right away. So if you list an item up for sale and within the first 30 days it doesn't sell, what you might want to try doing is changing the title or the price of the item or both. Okay? Then wait another 30 days. And then if it doesn't sell, delete the item. Looks like it's sticking out of my head. So that's like a good rule of thumb for a lot of people. But sorry, that's like a good thing that a lot of people like to do. But if you just want a more systematic approach, a really good rule of thumb is if the item doesn't sell in 30 days, you can just delete it from your store. Um, what will you suggest to a complete eBay dropshipping beginner who only has a listing limit of 10, says Shalty. All right, Shalty. So what I recommend is that you concentrate on listing cheap items that you list at pretty much break even. So when you have a listing limit of 10, you really shouldn't be concentrating on making profit for those sales. Your goal is to sell 10 items in the month so that you can then contact eBay and they can raise your selling limit. That is what you should be concentrating on as a beginner because you're not going to make a ton of money with a listing limit of 10. But once you get your listing limit up after a couple months, then you can concentrate on actually making a profit on those sales. So in the beginning, just list some cheaper items, list them at break even so you don't make any money on them, but that it will actually make sure that item sells quickly. You get the item shipped out, you prove to eBay you're a good seller, and then they're going to raise your limits. Okay. Late, but I made it. Bobby, you always make it. Thanks for being here, man. Um, I have some good recommendations if you want to send me a DM on Instagram. Just send me a DM and I can answer that for you or give you some good recommendations. There we go. Wow. Bobby says, we've been steadily doing over $25,000 a month now. Congrats, Bobby. Okay. All right. So the question is, do you offer returns on eBay when dropshipping? I'm worried someone could play some sort of scam. So we do offer returns. It's the industry standard, so you should really do it. Now on eBay, there's really two types of returns. Buyer pays returns and seller pays for return. Now, with the buyer pays for return, the buyer will only be responsible for paying for returns if it's a case of buyer's remorse. And buyer's remorse is when someone buys the item, then decides they just don't want it. That's buyer's remorse. So in that case, they would be responsible to pay to ship the item back. If it's seller paid, but let me go back to that. If it's buyer paid and the item arrives damaged or it's the wrong item, the seller would still be responsible for paying to ship the item back, even though it's buyer pays for return shipping. Now, with it, if you choose seller pays for return shipping, then the seller is responsible to pay to ship the item back, no matter what the reason is for the return. Now, as dropshippers, we don't have to worry so much about it because our supplier is actually going to pay to ship the item back. So websites like Walmart, for instance, they have free returns. So if the customer doesn't like the item or it's the wrong item or it arrives damaged, no matter what the reason is, Walmart will give you a free prepaid return label. You can then give that to the buyer, and the buyer will ship the item directly back to Walmart. You never see the item, and now you have a free return. Walmart refunds you, and then you refund the customer. That's it. So it's really simple and definitely worth it to do. And I wouldn't worry about getting scammed. It's not really an issue as a dropshipper because you're going to get refunded. Sorry, you're not going to refund the buyer on eBay until you get refunded by the supplier. All right, Bobby says PayPal restricted our account until we provided them with a photo ID and invoices and descriptions of items. Bobby, if you're still restricted, it sounds like maybe you're not restricted because everything's in the past tense. But if you are still restricted, send me a message on Facebook. We had a discussion on Facebook about this recently, about one of the other students who ran into the same issue and were able to get unsuspended based on the video that's in the advanced section of the eBay course, because that explains how to solve this issue. So you send me a message on Facebook, and I'll point you in the right direction for that. But it worked for that other student, so I'm pretty confident it's going to work for you as well. Okay. Um, Sweet. So Tim says, "Oh man," says, "Makes me sad. I was doing so well with just one item from Target. I don't, Tim, find a way around it. Other people are doing it. You could probably do it as well. I just hired my first VA using your super simple VA course. It was worth the buy. Thanks, man. Glad it worked out for you." Okay. Um, do you need a credit card to start dropshipping, or can I use a debit card? So you can use a debit card. The only issue is that as a new seller on eBay, PayPal is going to be holding your funds until the item actually gets ordered and then is delivered to the customer. So unless you have enough money in the bank account to use a debit card for a bunch of purchases, then really a credit card is a better option. But you could start with a debit card. Whoa, my account is from 2005. I have no limit. I know a lot of people would be willing to buy that. um, I've never actually had a return scam myself. No. Let's see. One account with 6,000 feedback after getting permanently banned. So happy. Great job, Nick. Oh, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my camera. I think it's actually my computer's overheating. Oh, cool. No problem, man. Ace says high ticket items or low ticket. So as a new seller, like I said before, you should be starting out with low ticket items to get the ball rolling. You can add high ticket items later. Uh, I personally like high ticket. It's a lot easier. You make more profit with less sales, which means you have to invest less in like software, you have to invest less in virtual assistant time. Just overall, it's a much smaller headache, or not as much of a headache as a low ticket. Now, in the past, I used to concentrate a lot on low tickets. So I guess like my after like my first year, I started selling a lot of low ticket items and did really, really well with it. But it was more hands on. It was a lot more work for me. I didn't mind it because I was making a lot of money. But eventually, once my account really built up a lot of good reputation and higher limits or higher dollar limits, I was able to add in a lot of those more high ticket items and transitioned over to that. And I like that one a lot better. Okay, let's see. How long does PayPal jail take to stop happening? So the general rule is 3 months, but it could take longer or shorter based on what your sales volume is. So PayPal is not only looking at the time frame of 3 months, but also how much you're selling. So if you sell enough, they'll let you out of PayPal jail early. Now, if you don't sell enough in those 3 months, they won't let you out of PayPal jail. I always forget the exact numbers, and they don't. From what I remember, they don't actually print it anywhere. They don't actually tell you the specific anywhere. So you kind of have to read around in different forums. So I think that's why I don't remember, because I never really quite believed it, because it was never confirmed by PayPal. But the general rule is 3 months, and you got to have some sales history to prove to them. Lorenzo says, why would someone want a stealth account? So a stealth account is really for people who have been suspended on eBay and aren't able to get their accounts back, which happens rarely. A lot of people think that as soon as they get an MC011 or their account gets suspended, that's it, or it's restricted, then that's it. But that's not true. There are, depending on the situation, there are so many ways that you can get your account back. I just added a lesson into my course about this, and already there's been a couple of students who have reached out and said, hey, I was suspended. I thought that was the end of it for me. And then I saw you release that update where you told us how to get our account backs, and now my account's back. So it's definitely possible. Later this week, I will be releasing a video with an expert who talks all about account restrictions and account suspensions. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That will be released on Saturday this week. Um, okay, good question. So the question is, I've been seeing great sales recently, so congratulations. However, once I return back to school in August, it will be difficult to maintain the orders. I'm considering hiring VAs. Will they list well? If you find the right virtual assistant, they will do excellent things for your account. They will be able to manage everything and help you grow your account, because there's going to be a lot of consistency there. So go through the whole process of posting a job, interviewing, hiring them. It's definitely worth it to take a little bit longer to find the perfect VA, or nearly perfect. And also understand that the first virtual assistant you hire, or first couple, might not be good ones. You might not know exactly what to look for. But as time goes on, you'll gain more experience at hiring virtual assistants and knowing which ones are good, and it should get easier. So that's what I would recommend. I would recommend starting now so you can start training them, and if you have to, let one go and find a better one if it comes to that. But now is really the time to start to look at that stuff. Um, No, I mean, how do I feel about automatic order fulfillment? Like I alluded to before, it's fine. I don't personally use it. I like having a virtual assistant go in. And also the other reason, really the bigger reason why I don't use the automatic ordering software, because it doesn't work with the suppliers that I like to use. Primarily, like I said, it works with Amazon and it works with AliExpress. So that's really the biggest reason I haven't really used it a lot, besides just experimenting with it. When I've experimented with it though, it has worked. And you know what else works, guys? If you hit that like button down below, what it will do is it will tell YouTube that you enjoy this video, which means that you will get more content recommended to you that will help you with your dropshipping journey. So if you guys are enjoying this video, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button down below. Um, What are the hottest items that will always sell well? Look up some of my product research videos. I have a lot of free videos here on YouTube all about product research, but probably the better video is in the description of this. Uh, Underneath this video in the description, I have a free eBay training. That's what you should check out because I go over exactly how to find hot items in that free training. Okay. Right now, fitness items are so hot because of quarantine. Yep. What should you list after quarantine? Again, check out that free training in the description. That's going to show you how to find items no matter what's going on in the world. Can I sell my store that has no limits? So technically, you're not allowed to buy and sell eBay accounts. eBay says you're not allowed to do that. Do people do it anyway? Yeah, absolutely. So you can do it. Try looking around on Facebook. Tell people you have it. It's kind of a trust thing, so it's kind of hard to do. There are websites you can sell different things like eBay stores on, but again, it's not really allowed. Okay. Um, will you do 50 push-ups if we get 50 likes? I can't do it today. I'm inside our camper van. You guys can't see it, but maybe you can see it based on how red my face is. I'm sweating right now. It is really hot in here. Um, I'm not doing 50 push-ups today. I did yesterday. We spent the night in the desert. I worked out outside. That was a mistake. It was Even though it was dark out, it was still really hot and just so dry. It just I don't know what I was thinking working out in the desert. This is a complicated question. I can't fully answer this right now. Um, but basically, the answer is yes, unless you become tax exempt, which is something I cover in depth in my course. But it's just a lengthy process, so I can't go through the whole thing right now. Okay, let's go to some of the questions from this week. Um, Caramel67 says, list anything that has to do with the beauty, like grooming, will literally fly off the shelves right now because people can't go to like hair salons or nail salons. Great recommendation. All right, so OZ Senti Boy says, hey Paul, when you hire a virtual assistant, do you give them access to your Zeek account or do they have their own? So Zeek Analytics is a software that I use to help me do product research on eBay. It's incredibly powerful. I love it so much. The question is, do I give my virtual assistants access to that? Do I give them the login information for that, or do they have their own? They just go into mine. I don't buy an account for them. I don't make them buy their own account. They don't have virtual assistant access to track to what's it called? Zeek Analytics. Um, but you don't need it. I mean, there's no risk in you giving them your login information. There's nothing they can really do inside your Zeek account that will impact your eBay account. So yeah, I just give my email and password for it, my login info for it. Okay, so same guy wants to know the new managed payments. Will it still use PayPal? Um, yes. So with eBay's managed payments, what it is they are integrating their payment directly into eBay. So when people buy stuff on eBay, it's not going to send them over to PayPal first to complete the purchase. You can purchase it directly on eBay. So that means you can enter your credit card information into eBay. If you're on your phone, you can pay with Apple Pay or Google Pay, right? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Apple Pay and the Android version, Google Pay, I think, whatever it is, Google Wallet. I don't know. So different options like that. And they said PayPal will still exist. It just won't look the same as it does right now. And the money won't be inside the PayPal account. It will be inside your eBay account, even if the person pays with PayPal. All right. Good question for one of my students inside the course. Says, do we send offers and do we promote? So I've talked about promoting a bunch of times, but let's talk about offers. So an offer is when someone you put on the listing that you accept offers for items. So you might list an item up for sale. Let's say it's a hammer, and you list it up for sale for $25, but you say you'll accept offers. That's basically saying, hey, customer, this is $25, but if you want to pay less, throw me an offer and maybe I'll accept it. So then they might throw out an offer for $20, and you can come back and say, no, I can only take 23, and they come back with $22.50, and then you accept that, right? So that's how offers work. It's kind of like haggling. I used to do this a lot. I used to have offers on all my listings, and I used to have a VA who basically did it pretty much full time. But it just got to be a pain. I didn't like it from a bookkeeping perspective. It was just a pain. The VA constantly had to keep checking the prices and make sure to actually be profitable. I just didn't like it. So we stopped doing it. We stopped offering offers on our listings just to kind of streamline things. And I'm happy with that. But for a lot of new sellers, I do recommend it. It's another way to generate more sales, which again is important for new accounts. Um, I'm new on eBay. They only give me $1,000 listing. Okay, same thing that I mentioned before. You won't get banned just for using any software. That's not what's going to get you banned. What's going to get you banned from eBay is bad selling practices, not responding to cases, not responding to returns, um, uh, canceling orders for being out of stock. Those are the kind of getting defects on your account. Those are the kind of things that will get you in trouble. So when it comes to competitors who copy your listings and then undercut you, there's really not a good way to avoid it from happening. Um, the best thing to do is just keep listing. I mean, there's nothing you're really going to be able to do. Um, the thing we've done in the past is we've then gone and copied them and undercut them on all their sales, which is kind of like a retaliatory practice to do. So that's one way of doing it. Right now, it's really not good for cashback websites, unfortunately. Um, I was looking at your avatar. um, it's just not good right now. A lot of them have slashed the cashback, so I wouldn't worry about it. Just concentrate on making money on the front end and without cashback. So I know people saying things about AutoDS or different software. I'll say the same thing I always say. There's no perfect software out there. Okay, all the drop shipping software, they all have problems. None of them are perfect. Some of them, you might join up and think, oh, this is so much better, and then after time, you're going to see that there are problems with it as well. So don't think that there's one that's really perfect, because I found that there really isn't one. I really like AutoDS. I found they work really well. I really like their features. They're consistent. So that's the one that I like. Uh, let's see. Amazon will always keep your payments. So for 2 weeks, Amazon will always hold your payments, um, and they'll do that for as long as you're a seller. It doesn't matter if you're new or if you're a more experienced seller. Do I do this live chat every Thursday or what? Well, it's Tuesday, but I do it every Tuesday. I try to do it every Tuesday. Like I said, I'm on the road full time, living in a camper van. So it really depends on Wi-Fi situation and what's going on that day. Generally try to do it on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you don't want to miss it, best thing to do is subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you get an alert on your phone when I do go live so that you don't miss out on it. Cool. Let's go through these other questions here. Oh, we got that one, 2 weeks. Okay, we kind of answered that one. James. Hey everyone, I attended the Dropshipping Summit last week. All right, so that's just a question about the Work From Home Summit I hosted a few weeks ago, because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. Unfortunately, like I said, once the summit was over, that was it. The videos aren't available any longer. But we do still have the Facebook group open, so anyone who wants to connect with me, it's a free Facebook group. It's called Work From Home with Paul J. Lipsky. The link to it is all the way at the bottom of the description of my video, so check that out. It's a free Facebook group. You guys can join up. And we have a couple more minutes here if anyone has any more questions. PayPal holds my money. What should I do? Again, PayPal will release your money as soon as you upload a tracking number and that tracking number shows the item was delivered. As soon as they do that, they will release the money to you. There's no way around that. It's just going to happen as a new seller. So just something you kind of have to deal with for now. Okay. All right, so we are going to cut it off there. But thanks so much, everyone, for joining me in the live chat and asking such great questions. If I answered a question that you had, or if you otherwise found this video helpful, would appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up underneath. Lets me know that you liked the video. If you loved it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss any of my next videos. Like I said, this Saturday, we are releasing video all about account suspensions and restrictions. Really important stuff for you guys to check out. Next week, we have a video going up. In addition to live stream, I'm going to be talking about selling limits. I know it's a big question people have, whether you can buy selling limits or not. So we'll be going into that and the difference between selling limits and free insertion listings. And then the week after that, we have more videos about product research. I know you guys love those videos so much, so I'll be popping up another one of those on the YouTube channel as well as I'm going to be going live whenever there's new information out there about eBay, any eBay news that I feel like you guys have to know about. So do make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on those videos. Again, description of this video has a ton of free resources for you. I have a quiz for you. If you're not sure which type of e-commerce is the best one for you to start in 2020, there's a personalized quiz. It's the first link under this video. Then I have some free trainings, free eBay training, free Amazon training. Or if you're ready, really, you're 100% ready to take things to the next level, I have my paid courses, eBay Dropshipping Titans and Amazon Dropshipping Titans. Those are linked up underneath this video as well. So check out the description, lots of great stuff there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.